Hello, I'm Patrick Miyake, and I provide legal advice that helps public agencies in California achieve their policy and business objectives by figuring out a way to say yes to their questions. Every month, I will answer a legal question relating to governmental agencies. Now, on to this month's question.
Pat, we've been approached by a communications company that wants to lease some of our property to install an antenna structure and related communications equipment. What issues should we consider?
As with any lease of real property, there are many issues to consider. For this video, I will highlight just a few specific issues relating to leases for communications facilities. For starters, leases for communications facilities are relatively long-term leases, typically 5 years with 3 or 4 5-year option terms exercisable by the communications company. Therefore, property owners need to consider both its short and long-term use of the property. Issue 1, use. The lease should describe the area of the property that may be used, how and when it can be accessed, and the specific communications equipment that may be installed. There should be no surprises after the communications facilities are constructed. Issue 2, relocation termination. While the property owner should be able to predict how it will use the property, things can change over a 20 to 25-year period. The lease should allow, after a reasonable period of time from the commencement of the lease, the property owner to require the relocation of the communications facilities if those facilities interfere with the property owner's primary purpose of the property. And if the property owner and the communications company are unable to agree where to relocate the communications facilities, the property owner should be able to terminate the lease. Issue 3, rent. The lease should provide for reasonable rent increases throughout the term. In my view, the lease should also enable the property owner, after a certain period of time, to evaluate the fair market value of the lease based on comparable communication site lease agreements in the area, and include a procedure for determining an equitable rent adjustment. Issue 4, risk allocation. The lease should address risk allocation through indemnity and insurance requirements. The communications company should be responsible for all damages, injuries, and liabilities that arise from the communication company's breach of the lease, negligent acts, and its use of the property. And the communications company should have appropriate insurance to back up the indemnity obligation. These are just a few of the issues property owners should consider in order to ensure a mutually beneficial long-term relationship with the communications company for the use of your property. Thanks for listening. If any of you watching have questions, please email them to me, and I will consider it for a future segment of A Few Minutes with a Public Agency Attorney. We're adjourned until next month.